through some health issues that I think you should know about that might affect the future of this channel, as well as some living situation changes that are happening that really I've seen coming a mile away because it typically happens with these people, but uh, I thought I should tell you. So, a week ago, I was taken by ambulance to Metro Health Hospital in Cleveland with excruciating pain in my side and right rotator cuff. Uh, it felt like nerve pain. What had happened was Friday night, Saturday morning, pun intended for you British television aficionados, if you get that reference. Um, but I had started feeling it then, not nearly as badly, but I had been able to sit up for most of the day. I was trying to take it easy. Uh, I was also developing a cough, which I was trying to deal with, drinking hot tea with honey and lemon juice. Uh, but sometime around 7:30 ish Saturday night last week is when I developed this extreme agony, which I knew was nerve pain. I mean, it's the only explanation that made sense. Uh, but I had to take my walking stick that I keep for hiking and also just to steady myself because I'm not steady on my feet anymore. Had to take that upstairs and have my Aunt Kathy call an ambulance because I couldn't even breathe. I was in that much pain because every time I drew in a deep breath or even tried to draw in even a shallow breath, um, I just was racked with pain. So the ambulance took me to Metro Health. They gave me some medication to help with the pain. Meanwhile, the nurse tried to, because the initial doctor I saw, when I described the symptoms to her, well, the pain was located right where my gallbladder was located. So she thought it might be something with my gallbladder. My dad had to have his removed. So did his sister, my Aunt Mary. And so they tried to do an ultrasound, but the pain just would not let me tolerate it. So they did a CAT scan. It took a couple hours of excruciating agony to go ahead and uh, get that done. But before that, they gave me some opioid-based painkiller, which I knew was going to cause me trouble, and in fact, it did the next day. But they did do the CAT scan. They discovered a couple of things. The first is that, uh, yeah, there were some issues with my gallbladder that I will go into later. Uh, but they discovered a blood clot in my right lung. And so, obviously, this is not going to be something that you're just going to go ahead and release someone to the hospital. So they admitted me. They also discovered an infection in my right lung, which I found out the next day was caused by a form of viral pneumonia that apparently can attack the nerves in near the infected lung. So yeah, it was nerve pain, just not caused by what I thought it would, because I do have herniated discs in my neck, and the worst are C6 and C7, right where the nerve clusters go into the shoulders and arms. So I went ahead and figured, okay, well, the opioids they gave me were making me throw up. So once I understood that the pain was nerve related, my doctor and I were able to get me on gabapentin and baclofen. The gabapentin is the nerve pain medication. The baclofen helps as a muscle relaxant, um, and so they're not exactly sure what caused the blood clot in my lung. My dad had some kind of blood clotting disease or condition that made him have to be on blood thinners for the rest of his life. I myself am also going to be on blood thinners for at least 6 more months. And in fact, almost ran out today because quirk of health insurance, even though it's through Medicaid. I've got CareSource through Medicaid, but it turns out CareSource will only cover one prescription of the blood thinner at one time. So when I went home from the hospital, uh, they only gave me enough for 9 doses because I was supposed to take 4 of the blood thinner tablets, uh, 2 of them twice a day, and they ran out today. So I had to call, and of course, because Christmas was yesterday, I wasn't able to call the Metro Health Pharmacy and uh, talk to someone and try and get something before it ran out. Um, and of course, today the pharmacy closed at 2. My Aunt Kathy, because she cannot be inconvenienced without raising a shitstorm, uh, got me there almost as the pharmacy was closing. In fact, I got there like maybe 10 minutes before, and they were already, prepping to close up. So I was very lucky that I was able to get to the pharmacy on time because my aunt just, for some reason, kept trying to delay, and she doesn't even feel a bit sorry for possibly causing me to miss a day of blood thinners, because if I develop another blood clot, the next one could be in my heart, the next one could be in my brain. I'm dead. And as it is, having a blood clot in the lung is no joke either. So, yeah, and of course my Aunt Kathy, just kept yelling and screaming at me and just kind of gave me the impression that she would rather I was dead because, God forbid, she should be inconvenienced. They even accused me of lying about my medication in order to, put it all on me as this inconvenience to her being my fault. And it's not. Okay? I mean, Metro Health is not at fault either. This was CareSource's fault because they don't want to be smart and cover things when they need to be covered. So, yell at CareSource, don't yell at me, and don't make me feel like you would rather just have me dead, because then you wouldn't have to put up with the inconvenience of putting me up. All right, I know I've been through a rough spot the last few years. That is entirely my younger brother and mother's fault, because of things that they did to my father that ended up putting him in the nursing home. They teamed up to, in 2011, they teamed up to force him to sign the house over to my younger brother David so that he could have me evicted. And so David ended up moving in, and between him and my mother neglecting him, he ended up having a series of seizures that landed him finally in the hospital and in the nursing home, where he spent most of the rest of his life. And of course, I don't know for sure what the hell the nursing home was doing, but they obviously were not making sure that he was getting his blood thinning medication, because he ended up getting blockage in his legs again rather badly, and he developed gangrene in one leg that had to be amputated. And of course, Fairview Hospital, being one of Cleveland Clinic's satellite hospitals, has a reputation where, yeah, you might go in alive, but coming out alive, we'll get back to you. Because my dad ended up getting pneumonia in the hospital, and it got to the point they had to open up a hole in his throat to insert a breathing tube. He was that bad off, and just a few months later, he ended up passing away from a weakening of the muscles, which is, I think it's called paraparesis, is what my Mary described it as. So this whole ordeal this week has really brought up a lot of trauma that I had been working on suppressing, but now it's been brought back to the surface, not least of which because my Aunt Kathy, I love her to death, but she is so thoughtless and cruel sometimes, because she is selfish, and she wants to accuse other people of, basically project her own faults and failings onto other people. And because I have been living with her for over 2 years now, while I've been trying to get my life back together. Uh, because a couple of years ago, I had a roommate who, uh, turned out to be a complete psychopath, and I had to leave the house, for fear of my life, because I found out he was doing things to a friend of mine that, well, he basically ended up in prison for, and but he ended up absconding with half of my belongings. So, uh, to really, uh, really kind of illustrate the situation I'm in, my health is deteriorating. Uh, Besides the issues with the blood clot and the pneumonia, there are some issues with my gallbladder. They found a couple of nodules on my spleen, which are probably benign. It's a bit of a hernia on the left side of my abdomen, where some fatty tissue is protruding through the muscle wall. There's gallbladder issues that I'm going to have to look at because my dad and my Aunt Mary had to have their gallbladders out. I would rather avoid that if I can, but the gallbladder is contracted, and I might be at risk for something with that. So I'm going to have to try and get something done about that before it becomes worse. Also, the doctors discovered some inflammation in my esophagus, especially to where it meets the stomach, and they're going to have to knock me out and put a catheter down my throat with a camera to try and find out what the hell is the matter with that. And then they found some calcifications on the right side of my heart. So minor for now, but I need to get those taken care of as well. And I suspect I might also have gotten my dad's fibromyalgia too. I don't know for certain, but with all the health issues I've got right now, I mean, and I don't tell people much about my personal problems because I don't like to complain or seem like I'm whining. But just to illustrate to you the issues that I go through, is that when I have to get up for work in the morning, I have to set my alarm clock to get me up really about 2 or 3 hours ahead of what I should if I didn't have these problems, because it takes me the better part of 2 or 3 hours, depending on how bad the pain is, just to be able to roll out of bed. And by that time I do, half my energy for the day is already exhausted. So when I go to work and come back, I'm pretty much wiped out for the day. My body's done, and it won't obey me. So, and of course my aunt is screaming about how I don't pull my weight around here. Well, I do cleaning, I feed the dog, I walk the dog, do whatever yard work that my body allows me to. But I am not in a good state of health right now, and haven't been for quite a while. I'm going to take advantage of my Medicaid care source while I still have it, to try and get these issues worked on. But the fact of the matter is, there's only so much I can do. And my aunt basically laid down an ultimatum: either I become a compulsive cleaner like her, never mind that I keep the place down here as clean as I can, but she's threatening to kick me out. And I'm like, when I'm working, I pay rent, I do help out with the chores, as my body allows. I'm sorry I can't be a compulsive cleaner and be up vacuuming at 11 at night like you do, but, sorry. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I love my Aunt Kathy to death. She's the one who basically got my dad and me to reconcile after several years of being estranged from one another because of what my mother and younger brother had done to drive us apart. So I'll be eternally grateful to her for that. But my aunt really, like I said, she can be really selfish and thoughtless and inconsiderate of other people, their feelings, their thoughts and opinions, and especially their own health problems. Because a lot of the stuff that I'm suffering from I guess you can call them invisible illnesses. But honestly, I don't know. I mean, she voted for Biden, who's a child molester, and refuses to believe that he's going to be 20 times worse than Trump because Trump is an amateur. Biden has been doing all the things Trump's been doing for over 40 years, and he's not going to change. He's not going to be pushed left. But, that's the type of person my aunt is. She's a very conservative Democrat who, poo-poos on people like Bernie Sanders, never mind that he's a cuck who surrenders to the Democrat leadership every time and gets nothing in return. But, try and challenge her political views on anything, and she shuts that down too, and treats you like you're a dummy. So, my grandpa, God rest his soul, didn't put up with it, forbade her from coming to the house to bully her mother, because he didn't like the way she talked to her. And of course, there's a reason why my Aunt Mary was my dad's executor for his will, instead of my Aunt Kathy, because Aunt Kathy just cannot be trusted. She'll just, yeah, uh, she's just not a responsible person. Uh, but but yeah, that's my situation. I am between jobs right now, on seasonal layoff from my job that I've been working this year. Hopefully, it'll start up next month, maybe February. I'm also waiting on word from the post office because they offered me a job after I applied, and I know they're short-staffed. They need the help, but I'm hoping now with the Christmas holiday over now that they'll be able to start catching up on deliveries and stuff, and also the hiring process, and have me start because they're offering me $16 an hour, and from what I understand, they do tend to work you pretty hard. So, hopefully, because I'll have the gabapentin, and so if any nerve pain comes up, I'll be able to fall back on that, and uh, just keep going to work at the post office. And when my income tax refund check arrives, I'll use that to move back out onto my own, because I can't stay here, and I'd rather move out under my own power and make sure that I can get a decent place. I'm hoping for a 2-bedroom. I might have to settle for a 1-bedroom, but a lot of people apparently are gobbling up 1-bedrooms and driving the prices up on that, while the 2 and 3-bedroom apartments are sitting empty. So landlords might actually bring the prices down on those. But we'll see. I mean, I would prefer a 2-bedroom because then I could sleep in the main bedroom, use the second one as my studio setup, and have the living room, for living. But we'll see what happens. It depends on my employment situation, how that goes. Either way, I'm, and plus I've got other options lined up towards employment, which is this nonprofit agency here in Cleveland that helps people find work, has something lined up for me through a call center. So even if the other 2 jobs fall through, they can hook me up with that. It's just a matter, again, of getting the interview squared away and making sure that happens. So either way, I've got at least 3 different leads that could get me employed again, and hopefully permanently, because the post office, despite its funding problems, which are the creation of both Republicans and Democrats, let's not lie to ourselves. The Democrats could have solved those problems years ago. They chose not to because they're tied to the same savage austerity ideology as Republicans. They just pretend otherwise. So, the post office just, it's not in a good situation. So, if you're angry and upset at the cutbacks at the post office, get on the horn to your senators, get on the horn to your representatives in the House, and demand that they do it, and say that, look, I'm done voting Republican. I'm done voting Democrat. If there's a viable third party, if you have to say, look, if you don't get your acts together, I'm either voting Green or Independent. But either way, you know, you people have done an awful job. We're in a pandemic. You've let the virus run out of control in this country. We've lost coming up on 365,000 people dead this year because of this virus. Whether directly or indirectly, it's still because of the virus that they're dead. And the only thing that you people can do is bail out Wall Street and leave the rest of us with nothing. So, this is not a partisan issue. It is not a left versus right issue. It's a right versus wrong issue where the public needs its representatives, its supposed representatives, to step up to the plate and do their jobs, but they won't do it. And in the meantime, people like me who are just struggling to get by, it's not a good situation. So, this brings me to my next point where I have to figure about the future of this channel, because I would love nothing more than to do this full time, but I need the viewership numbers, because YouTube isn't going to pay me anything until I at least until unless I'm getting up at like 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 subscribers, unless I'm getting like, thousands of views on my videos, the YouTube algorithm is not going to be kind to me, and I'm not going to make any money. So the only money that I can rely on right now is through patrons or through my coffee page that I've started up, because Subscribestar really hasn't been a good fit for me. So right now, in order to continue this channel and do it videos full time, I have to rely on you, my viewers. So if you like my videos, if you think I've got some good ideas, I don't expect people to agree with me all the time or to concur. I don't expect really anything in terms of whether people agree or disagree. If you do, great. If not, that's fine too. We don't have to agree on stuff, but I hope that if you actually have gotten anything from my videos and at least come away thinking about the material more in depth. And I'm going to be starting to get a lot more analytical with some of my stuff, because I want to do film analysis as well as reviews. In fact, I got a review of the final 3 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2, which, just got completely epic. And of course, spoilers for those of you who have not yet seen it. I think that's a couple of people in Kentucky who don't have Disney Plus. But, wow, people are talking about that season finale, and for good and bad reasons. And it's got people talking. It's got people interested in Star Wars again. So, in my opinion, it doesn't begin to repair the damage that Disney did with the sequel trilogy on the big screen under Kathleen Kennedy, but it's a start. It's not a perfect show. It's got its flaws, which, Shadiversity has pointed out. You can actually watch a linked video up here in the corner where Shad points out, how the world building is broken and all the technical inconsistencies that, do kind of pile up and break suspension of disbelief. Don't get me wrong. The Mandalorian is a good show. It tries to deliver, and I think it succeeds more than it fails. But it does need to respect canon, not the Disney trilogy canon, but the actual canon pre-Disney, while kind of like expanding and building new grounds, because you've created this new character, so you can take him in directions that are not necessarily constrained by the expanded universe canon, which Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni seem to be tapping into more than anything established in the Disney trilogy, which might be decanonized because Disney realizes it screwed up. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much the end of this rambling video. Yeah, the pain in my side is largely gone. Uh, maybe some aggravation when I cough, which is frequently. I've got to be on cough suppressant, and even that doesn't work very well. So I have to go to bed downing throat lozenges just to kind of prevent me from coughing, so I can get some rest. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you. But yeah, I mean, just I am actually interested in your feedback because I need to figure out this algorithm and also be able to get videos produced and edited and uploaded on time. So we'll just have to see what happens, but I am going to need more support from viewers. If you like what you see and you want to hear more, if you want me to be able to continue doing this and make some money so that I can contribute to household expenses while I save up to move out again, please do, because without your support, I don't have a YouTube channel, and I may not even have a home before long. So, yeah. So, hope to hear from you. Just keep the comments respectful. I will delete shit that goes too far in disrespecting me, and when I do respond, I give no fucks whatsoever. A lot of people, when they get shitty comments from people in the comment section or on Twitter, it can affect you if you let it. But the key is you have to not let it. And I just give no fucks about what people think of me, so I just laugh it off and I'll troll right back, or just respond in my rather abrasive way. I'm probably closer to Jimmy Dore in terms of how I respond to assholes than I am someone else. So, I look forward to hearing from you. If you've got any ideas for what you would like me to cover going forward from here, because The Mandalorian season 3 does not arrive until a year from now, and then they've got the Book of Boba also coming in December of 2021. So I mean, lots of stuff dropping, but it's going to be a year, so in between now and then, it's going to be a lot of stuff where I'm going to rely on your input to help me figure out what you want me to cover, and I will do my best. Let's make this an interactive YouTube channel where, if you want me to cover something, send me an email, drop a suggestion in the comments, and let me know, and I'll do it. But I do need your support financially as well, because so that I can offer you more in return than just thanks on the YouTube channel. I want to be able to offer merchandise eventually, coffee mugs, t-shirts, hell, I might even commission a safety razor or something, both for my own use but also as a special prize for a contest drawing, or as a line to sell, so that I can make extra money for the channel. But we'll see. I mean, I want to be able to offer you more in return for your support. So, all right, it's been long enough. I'm gonna stop here, but yeah, hope to see you soon. Bye bye.